A driver in Seattle asked one simple question about his car insurance. What he got back changed how he thought about his truck forever. He requested his consumer file from LexisNexis, a data broker most people have never heard of, that most people do not know has a file on them, and that most people do not realize has been quietly building a profile of how they drive. What arrived was a 258-page document. Every trip his car had logged over the previous 6 months. 640 individual trips, start times, end times, distances, every hard braking event, every sharp acceleration, every instance of speeding, all of it cataloged, scored, and sitting in a database that insurance companies pay to access when deciding what to charge you. He had never consented to any of this in a way he understood or remembered. The data came from his connected vehicle, and his insurance premium had already gone up. That story broke in the New York Times in March 2024, and it sent a wave through every connected vehicle owner in America, including F-150 owners asking the same question. What does my truck know about me? Who has it told? And what can I actually do about it right now? Today, I am answering all three of those questions. What connected vehicle data actually is, exactly what Ford's position is on data sharing, how to pull your own LexisNexis file and find out what is already in it, how to do the broker freeze that stops future data from being scored and sold, and what to turn off in your F-150 tonight if you want to take back control of your driving information. Let's get into it. Before we get into it, hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification right now. Every week on this channel, we cover the things F-150 owners actually need to know: mechanical, financial, and increasingly the data and privacy side of owning a connected vehicle. Subscribe now. Then let's talk about your 258-page file. What connected vehicle data actually is: every modern F-150 equipped with Ford's connected services is generating data continuously. Connected vehicle data includes vehicle data such as odometer readings, oil level, and diagnostic trouble codes, as well as driving behavior data including speed and braking, location data including precise GPS coordinates, and input from microphones and cameras. That is a significant amount of information being generated, transmitted, and stored every time you drive. Most of it is genuinely useful. It powers the vehicle health alerts in FordPass, enables remote start, supports navigation services, and allows Ford to push over the air software updates. The technology exists because connected services make the truck more capable and more convenient to own. The question is not whether the data exists. It does. The question is where it goes, who can access it, and whether the people whose driving is being recorded have meaningful control over that process. Ford's specific position A&D, why it matters here, is where Ford's situation is importantly different from what happened to the Seattle driver and the GM owners who generated most of the 2024 headlines, and being accurate about this matters. At its 2025 virtual shareholders meeting, Ford confirmed that it does not sell any connected vehicle data to brokers, period. Insurance companies have never received customer connected vehicle data from Ford without explicit consent from the customer. Before late 2024, if a customer wanted to enroll in usage-based insurance, that customer had to opt in twice, first with their own insurer, then with Ford on their vehicle screen. Since late 2024, Ford hasn't supported these programs at all. This is meaningfully different from what happened with GM and Honda, which confirmed their disclosure of drivers' data to Verisk Analytics, including acceleration and braking data that was then used to build driving behavior profiles sold to insurance companies. Ford's stated position, repeated publicly and on the record, is that it does not participate in this. That does not mean your data has zero exposure. Ford recommends that customers who suspect their insurance premiums are being raised due to their driving behavior review the privacy notices and settings of non-Ford apps on their phone, as those apps may independently disclose information related to their location, speed, and other relevant data to insurance carriers. Your phone-specifically apps like Google Maps, navigation apps, and fitness apps running in the background may be doing exactly what GM's connected vehicle system was doing, without you realizing it. The data risk for F-150 owners is real. It is just more likely coming from your pocket than from your dashboard. What to turn off in your F-150 right now, regardless of Ford's current data sharing position, understanding what your truck transmits and having control over it is your right as the owner. Here is exactly how to manage it. Ford requires users to disable data sharing from within the vehicle's infotainment system. Select settings on your vehicle's sync screen. Choose Connectivity. Tap Connected Vehicle Features. Toggle off to disable Share Vehicle Data. Press Continue on the confirmation prompt. There are several individual toggles worth understanding in that menu. Share Vehicle Data controls the broad data transmission. Share Vehicle Location controls GP's data specifically. Share Vehicle Driving Data, the one most directly relevant to insurance scoring, controls acceleration, braking, and behavior data. Share Vehicle Analytics covers usage pattern data. Each can be reviewed and adjusted individually. The trade-off worth knowing before you toggle everything off. Disabling data sharing causes Ford to disable most of the smart driver features and most of the functionality in FordPass. Remote start, vehicle health monitoring, and over-the-air updates all depend on the connected services infrastructure. Turning off data sharing does not just stop data from leaving the truck, it also stops the services that data connection enables from reaching it. This is a genuine trade-off that every owner has to weigh based on their own priorities. There is no version of full connectivity with zero data transmission. The choice is between connected functionality with data sharing or privacy with reduced remote features. How to pull your own LexisNexis file. Even if Ford is not selling your data to brokers, a LexisNexis consumer disclosure report is worth requesting because LexisNexis compiles data from multiple sources, including your driving history, claims history, and potentially data from apps and other services you have used. The process is straightforward and federally guaranteed. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the same law that requires credit bureaus to provide your credit report on request, LexisNexis must provide your consumer disclosure report upon request at no charge once every 12 months. Go to LexisNexis.com/privacy and request your consumer disclosure report. You will need to verify your identity. The report typically arrives within a few days and covers the information LexisNexis holds across all of its consumer databases, including any driving behavior data that may have been reported through connected vehicle programs or telematics services you have enrolled in. If the report shows driving behavior data trips, speeds, braking events, trace it back to its source. It will indicate where the data originated. That source is where the opt-out conversation needs to happen. If you find no driving behavior data in your LexisNexis file, that is actually useful information too. It tells you that your driving profile has not been populated in their system, which has direct implications for how they score you for insurance purposes. The broker freeze and how to do it. The broker freeze is the step most people skip because they have never heard of it, and it is the step with the most direct impact on whether your driving data can be used for insurance scoring going forward. LexisNexis operates similarly to a credit bureau in the insurance context. Just as you can place a security freeze on your credit file that prevents new creditors from accessing it, you can place a security freeze on your LexisNexis consumer file that prevents insurance companies from pulling it when calculating your premiums. The freeze does not delete existing data. It blocks access to the file by new parties who request it. For insurance purposes, this means a carrier cannot use your LexisNexis driving profile to adjust your rate. They can only use the information you directly provide them on your application. To place the freeze, contact LexisNexis Risk Solutions directly through their consumer center at lexisnexis.com/privacy or by calling their consumer center line. Request a security freeze specifically on your consumer file. You will receive a PIN that allows you to temporarily lift the freeze when you are actively shopping for insurance and want carriers to have access to your full file. The freeze also applies to Verisk, the other major data broker specifically named in the Senate investigation into connected vehicle data sharing. Verisk shut down its driving behavior scoring product in April 2024 following the New York Times reporting, but placing a freeze on your Verisk consumer file as well closes that door permanently. Verisk's consumer opt-out is available at verisk.com/privacy. The phone problem Ford specifically flagged, one point Ford made directly in their public guidance, deserves more attention than it typically receives. Ford recommends that customers who suspect their insurance premiums are being raised due to their driving behavior review the privacy notices and settings of non-Ford apps on their phone, as those apps may independently disclose information related to their location, speed, and other relevant data to insurance carriers. This is not deflection. It is accurate. Several major insurance carriers have their own smartphone apps that, with location permissions enabled, track driving behavior directly through the phone's accelerometer and GP's hard braking, sharp turns, speeding, time of day driven, and feed that data back into their rating systems. Some of these apps are carrier-specific driving programs the customer knowingly enrolled in. Others are embedded in apps that were not obviously presented as driving monitoring tools. Check the location permissions on every app currently installed on your phone. Any app with always-on location access has the technical ability to track your movement continuously. Review which apps have this permission and whether you knowingly granted it in a driving data context. For the apps you do not recognize giving this level of access, revoke it. Your F-150 knows more about how you drive than most people realize. The good news specific to Ford owners is that Ford's stated and documented position is that it does not sell that data to brokers a meaningfully better position than what GM and Honda owners were dealing with in 2024. The remaining risk is real, but it comes primarily from your phone, from apps you may have inadvertently given location access to, and from any usage-based insurance programs you may have enrolled in without fully reading the fine print. The broker freeze costs nothing. The LexisNexis report costs nothing and takes 10 minutes. Reviewing your sync data sharing settings takes 5 minutes on your truck's touchscreen tonight. And understanding what your connected vehicle data actually is and where it actually goes is information that belongs to you as the owner of the truck. Hit the like button if this gave you something actionable before it became an insurance problem. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss what we put out next. Now here is my question for the comments. Which of these 3 situations describes where you are right now? Pick one. A. I had no idea my truck was generating and transmitting this level of driving detail, and I am going into my sync settings tonight to review exactly what is toggled on and ordering my LexisNexis report this week to find out what is already in my file. B. I already knew about the data collection issue, but I had no idea the broker freeze existed as a specific tool I could use to block insurance companies from accessing my driving profile. I am doing this today. C. I checked my sync settings after reading about this issue and found that data sharing was defaulted on without me ever deliberately enabling it. I want other F-150 owners to know that the default is not private. Drop your answer below. I read every comment. And if you pulled your LexisNexis report and found driving data in it, or found nothing, share what you found in the comment, because real owner data points help everyone understand what is actually in these files.